Yo, the Valhook Whitey is back with Modobi, episode 3, the Modobi interviews. So quickly, we talked about Scott, we talked about corkers. You obviously also represent Solitude flies, and Solitude is big time.
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm not a big Solitude fly customer, and I'm not because Solitude doesn't tie a great fly. Right? You do a lot of bug business with Solitude, right?
A lot,
right? And that means they tie good stuff and great shit. And what I like about Solitude from afar is they've got a lot of legit proprietary stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody buys a bit from every other there's several great companies. They're all quality ties. Yep. You see little niches in development. I would say that, MFC kind of rules the foam market. Solitude seems to rule a lot more of the natural fibers and fabrics.
And the fly that Solitude ties that's had impact at my register is the fucking rusty trombone. I mean, I sell a lot of that fly, and that's a Wyoming fly, right?
It's out of the Gray Reef area.
Okay,
that's tire is Trent Tatum.
Okay, Trent Tatum. Yeah, good job, Trent. Yeah. Holy fuck. Trent, I'll give you just a 30-second story about that. So I fished a local freestone Friday last week, and I did fine. I streamer fished the whole fucking thing. That fishery's been kind of changed because of the flood we had. I'm walking upstream, and boom, there's two dudes behind me. And all of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, Rich." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I finally hook up with them, and they're good customers, they're good friends, and they're good anglers. And same thing, fishing nothing but streamers.
Right.
And the one dude says to me, "How you done?" I'm like, okay. Caught a couple of small ones, moved a couple of big ones, but that's it. And he's like, "You need to be fishing this rusty trombone." And they oh Jesus, I mean, and just like that, and again, this is a fly that I've sold, I'm not going to say thousands of, but I've sold a bunch. Okay, I mean a bunch, and coming from somebody that doesn't automatically pick it, meaning that people come in asking for it.
Right.
So I realize Solitude's got a lot of credibility. Right.
It's a great, and like I said, again, there's niches in our industry, and, it just all depends on your fishery. You might, and it also depends on your fishing preference. Of course, I excel on spring creeks and tailwaters.
Got it.
I excel at that. I have the right flies for that situation. You're closer to all your freestones here, so some of those flies aren't exactly what people are walking through there. Our streamer selection has been growing.
Superb.
I got some new stuff.
Superb. Yeah, they tie great streamers. Okay, so that's enough with the vendors. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Modobi the man, because you're very interesting. My dad, who's 90, comes into the shop every day.
Love to see him.
When I reference, you or your brands and he'll always say, is that the guy with the funny stuff in the ears? Right? Because you got stretchers in there?
Oh yeah, I gauged him.
Okay, you gauged. All right, right.
I gauged him a long time.
It's all good. I it's part of your mystique.
Well, it's part of my punk rock heritage too.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you said you started guiding. Was that your first endeavor into the sport of fly fishing?
Well, I had moved out west. I grew up in Illinois.
Okay.
And I moved out west in 1981. I graduated high school in 1981.
Wow.
And
I graduated in 84.
Right. I mean, we've always talked how we're close in age.
Same year my wife was born.
Right. Exactly. I look at that every once in a while and I'm like, that's the year I graduated.
Yeah.
But came out west, never saw the mountains, never saw a trout, grew up in Illinois.
Yeah.
And that summer I knew I was never going home. I was never going back to Illinois.
Yeah.
And so I slid down to Denver. I spent a summer in Wyoming. I slid down to Denver. I knew that I didn't need it. I wasn't going to go to college. I didn't have a college ambition, and I said, well, I better learn a trade.
Yeah.
So I went to work for 6 or 7 years, and I was a sheet metal worker. I installed heating and air conditioning and all over Denver and Boulder area. But my weekends.
But that shit's hard, right?
Well, I mean, it is hard.
I mean, you're younger, it's better, but damn.
Yeah. And it was a good trade.
Yeah.
I mean, I still say that to this day. We need more kids in the trades. We got to get
that's for sure.
We know this. We know this, right?
Yeah, you screw your bachelor's degree.
Yeah, and in
become
fact,
a fucking electrician.
In fact, I was just in Laramie,
yeah,
which has Wyoming. Oh God, what is it called? It's a tech. Yeah. It's a tech college. Teach diesel mechanics, teach welding and stuff.
Yeah.
And the kids were all going to McDonald's for lunch, and I was like, "Thanks, kids." I literally thanked a group of young guys that said, hey, trades are all right. You guys are going to make some cash. You guys are going to make some cash. You guys are going to be just fine. Jesus. So that's all I was doing was making cash so that I can go fish every weekend.
Yeah.
So I found myself in a town called Saratoga, Wyoming, and
I've never been there.
It's a neat little place.
Oh, fuck, everywhere in Wyoming is.
Yeah. And so had an opportunity through another friend of mine, and he said, I see you up here all the time fly fishing. He says, what's up?
And how old are you?
I'm probably at that time, I'm 21, 22.
Ooh. And I mean, what are you fucking listening to Black Flag or something?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I've seen 13 Ramon shows.
Wow. God, that's hardcore. Wow. That's a whole nother episode. Yeah. All right. So
he says, what are you doing next summer? And I said, I don't know, banging tin is what I do, and fish on the weekends. He says, well, we're going to become an ERBS endorsed outfitter next year, and we really need to have some guys that know something about fishing.
And you're talking the late 80s,
this
right?
This is mid-80s. This is like 85,
There was
86.
no industry.
Really no industry.
There was no industry yet.
And ERBS was making this big push out west, I said, you'll love this part. I said, well, I don't know how to row a boat. He said, we'll teach you how to row a boat. We'll supply the boat, the truck,
smart outfitter,
your lunches, everything. And I said, well, I got to know how much I'll make. And he says, we'll pay you $80 a day.
Wow. Plus tip.
Plus tip.
And what was a fucking good tip back then?
$50.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
But the funnier part of that was I was making $10 an hour banging tin.
Sure.
Right? So I was like,
Jesus.
If I don't play this
and guiding's tough.
And if I don't play this game now,
I'm
never going to play it. So I packed up, moved to Wyoming, best summer of my life. And
that was the start of your career.
And off it went.
And how many years did you guide before you opened up your store?
I had probably a 9 or 10 year run, and then I went to Alaska for 2 seasons. I guided in Alaska. I guided in Chile and Argentina. I guided in the Cayman Islands.
You guided in fucking South America?
Way back in the day.
Wow.
Way back in the day.
You can't even do that now, can you?
No, I've heard your episode on that.
Yeah.
And, back then you could get a work permit.
Sure.
You were legal because the Chileans and the Argentines had just started to learn to fly fish.
And they needed you, didn't they?
They
needed you.
The Caymans was a shoo-in.
What did you guide for in the Cayman Islands?
Bonefish permit, and we had a baby tarpon.
Fuck your kid. It's interesting. I never really hear anything about fly fish in the Cayman Islands.
It's a
nice bonefish?
PhD bonefish.
Okay, just meaning they're tough?
Tough.
Ooh.
Tough.
I hate those.
They've been fished over since the 60s.
Okay.
There's a great history. There's all this history. I worked at a club called the Southern Cross Club.
Wow.
And it was mostly a diving resort. World-class diving.
Cool.
Amazing diving. And that's where I was able to get my dive certificate. But it was just an activity.
Yeah.
We had a guide
staff,
I get it. And then you couldn't fly the day after or the day before.
You want to go bone fishing? What's bone fishing?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So real quick, what was the name of your fly shop?
Called Medicine Bow Drifters.
There we go.
Still around there, man.
Is
it?
Yeah,
you'll still. Well, now the shop isn't any longer, but every once in a while in my travels,
wow,
I'll see a hat.
That's
a
badass.
That's
badass.
I'll be like, some of my buddies still drop stuff off and say, "Remember this?"
So how long were you open?
It was open for 5 years.
Yeah. Why did you not keep doing it?
Very tough place to.
Sure. Oh my God. Of course.
And Rich, honestly, there was a couple of things where you were just learning more and more. We had a wonderful guide service. I had great guides. I did tons of trips through the season. Very close to Denver. Yeah. Very close to Fort Collins. Yeah. So you had a lot of anglers that were coming from that area. Yeah. And I'd watch them, and you can see that. I'd watch them uncork a brand new Scott rod right in the driveway.
You betcha, man. I mean, people bitch about all that, but at the end of the day, I mean, got to have money.
You got excited about your trip, so you went over to the local shop, and they said, Dobson loves to fish 4-weights this time of year for trichos.
But nonetheless, a fly shop in Saratoga, Wyoming, tough.
Oh, I couldn't even sell fly tying materials.
I mean, what did you have, like 120 days a peak? That's it?
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, May through September.
I struggled enough that I'd have to go down to Denver and pick up that sheet metal job. Yeah.
I mean, I just, it's kind of interesting that it's running any retail gig is tough, but running a fly shop, especially how many folk live in Saratoga back then?
I think there's maybe 5,000 people.
Oh, okay. Well, that's bigger than I thought.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe.
So tough.
Surrounding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but fun, baby.
It was great. Oh my gosh.
Fucking fun, right?
The best years of my life were really.
That's great.
Just having fun and watching, my young guides become who they were.
Sure.
And, one's a lawyer now.
That's something that our 38 listeners can't convey to them is that there is something special about surviving in this game.
Absolutely.
That's a good way to put it for me, because with your job, which is territory repping, right? I mean, that's expensive in itself, right? I mean, how many samples have you bought? They
don't hand them out like popcorn.
Dude, holy shit! When I first found that out, which was a while ago, that territory reps, here comes this this man in with a fucking rack of 5 fucking racks of clothing, expensive shit. Right? He had to buy that. He had to buy those samples from the vendor. And to me, I don't understand that. Yeah. I don't understand that. So, anyway, that it's a tough business, right? What else you got to say?
I keep going back to thank you for this.
Well,
thank you again.
You've motivated me in my career. You're an industry rep that has my shop in mind.
Always.
I mean, I it's not like most don't. It's not that, right. But it still is one of those kinds of things where you've walked in my shop, looked around, said, "That's not a good fit for you."
Yeah.
Didn't try to sell me nothing. No. That kind of thing. No, so I've appreciated your integrity in the sport as far as what you do. And like I said, all sectors of this business are tough, right? But the value for you is, my God, guiding, retail, repping, and you have just fucking gotten to fish a ton, right? You're a saltwater cat.
I love that.
Holy moly, right? Jeez.
I think Andy Mill.
You played in the NFL.
I think Andy Mill once said that he spent over $1 million chasing tarpon. I'm almost halfway there.
A former employee of mine. I like to fish for permit, but I'm just not good at it. Anybody can say nobody is and all that, but I'm not as good as I need to be, right? Because the point is, a former staff of mine, good dude, a little sarcastic. I come back from a trip. He's like, "Did you catch anything?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I caught this and this, but I got skunked fucking 5 straight days for permit," right? And he's like, by the end of your career, you're going to have about $100,000 per permit you catch. And he's fucking right.
Exactly.
He's right. But what he doesn't get is he doesn't get the reward, the immense reward when it goes right. Well, that's the shit that it isn't watching a bobber drop.
Every fish, and you've done it. You've done it enough, right? You've done it a lot.
Yes.
And isn't it the excitement of what every fish does different? Every time you throw that fly out there, you really don't expect the same thing to happen twice.
I think for me, what it is, it's all sight casting, and I've mentioned that.
Hunting.
When you see some, and you have the time to prepare as your guide's getting you on the approach, and he's positioning the boat to benefit you, plays into your cast, the whole thing. It's weird to me how it all fucking slows down. It just becomes truly slow motion in real life. And I think that charge right there, let alone getting a follow, an eat, and then the crazy shit after that, it's worth spending the dough.
It's neat.
Fucking
you say, that there's that clarity. All of a sudden, that clarity.
Damn.
And the fish may eat it. Fish may not eat it, but you still get that clarity of this could happen.
It's quiet. It's romantic. It's sport. It's hard. That's what I get out of it, right? And I love to trout fish. But saltwater for me has been different.
Yeah.
And it's motivated me differently.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I still love to trout fish.
Yeah.
Actually planning on getting back and going to swing some steelhead this year.
Nice.
Which it's been a few years.
Yeah.
So I got a trip planned over there to the salmon and going with another friend. We haven't been in a while. And,
yeah.
And that's the other part.
Well, wonderful.
That's the other part of our world, right?
Yeah.
Is the experience of the trip. And you've had a lot of those.
I have. Yep. And I'm going to do a lot more. Absolutely. Anyway. All right. That's it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks,
the Modobi Interviews episode 3 is over. Foul Hook Whitey is out.